The school we went to was called Charles Young Platoon School.
Elementary school.
The elementary school, the grammar school, grade school. Anyway, and I thought it was kind of a funny name, but anyway, it's the Charles Young Platoon School. Well, schools were segregated, and the black schools were spaced in the black communities, and they were spread across the city. Anyway, platoon meant we had a homeroom. All of us, when we went to school, went and sat in the same room. And whatever the subject was taught in that room by that teacher. Now we're going to go to English. And to go to English, we leave that classroom and quietly and politely march to the next classroom and get our English. Next is music. We go back down to the first floor to the music room. So we moved to the teacher in the room where the subject matter was. Everybody else in our school system, in our black school system, went to one room, and the teachers for English would come to them, for music would come to, and they stayed in the same room. Well, how am I supposed to know that? Because I'm growing up saying everybody my age must be doing the same thing in grammar school. Okay, the first day of middle school, junior high it was called, we had an assembly. All the new students were to go to the auditorium. There were monitors and proctors to shoo us all into the right place, right? And we all sat down. And the principal introduced herself. And she started off by saying, "You have successfully finished grammar school. You're now in middle school. You're now older. You're expected to be more responsible. You're expected to behave yourself because that's the correct thing to do. I don't expect discipline problems. Now, you will be moving from classroom to classroom. And I want to make sure that it was done in orderly fashion." And she went on talking about the drill. Her glasses were normally in a position like that. It was to make sure you knew you were being looked down upon. That was my conviction. She wanted you to know you were an inferior little beast, right? Are there any questions? Yes, young man? At the beginning, you were telling us we had successfully completed grammar school and we should be more grown up, more responsible, and more responsible for our behavior. And then you began to tell us how we should get from one classroom to the other. We all knew that already. People who came from my school were the only ones who knew that already about deportment and going from classroom to classroom. And being uninformed little jerk, I had to point that out to her, that I'd heard this all before. And only a few of us had heard it before or knew what to do, because only a few of us came from the same school. So I made an ass of myself right away. I made myself an enemy. I made myself a wise guy. And so the answer to my question was, see me in my office after this assembly. I was out of zone, out of district.
And they could have sent him back.
And when it was time for me to be in middle school, the schools in my neighborhood were overcrowded And so I was scheduled to go to school half days. And my mother said, "No way in hell is my son going to have an extra half day out of school." She was convinced I would probably be in serious trouble instantly. So, whatever it took for me to go to school full time, we're going to do what needs. So, she knew people in the Board of Education, and she knew people who could help that happen so that I could not go to school half days. I was sure to be in school full days, and that's what got me to that particular middle school. And I didn't know my school was unique. And there were probably fewer than 20 kids who went to the same school that I went to. So I was completely wrong, completely, out of step with the reality. So anyway, so now I've met the principal. She let me know that I was going to be a problem, but it was her school, and she was going to make sure I either behave myself properly or get sent back wherever I belong. So I knew I had to be careful. Then I was allowed to go to my classroom for the first time because I started off in the assembly, right? Went to my classroom, and the teacher's got her list, and she's going to do a roll call. Adams, here. Adams, what does your father do? My dad works in the government printing office. Oh, very nice. Archambault, present. Archambault, what does your father do? My father drives a taxi. Now, even though very few people from my school, went, and that's what caused me trouble, several people in my class I knew and knew me. And those several people started to giggle. And the teacher says, "What's so amusing?" And someone said, "His father doesn't drive a taxi. His father's a doctor." And the teacher said, "Why did you tell me your father drives a cab when he's a doctor?" I said, "Why did you ask me what my father does? Is it going to affect my grade?" She got upset with me. I've been in this school less than 2 hours. The principal hates my guts, and now my teacher hates my guts. I thought it was wrong for her to ask. And I did have a question about, is it going to affect your grade? Are you going to, how are you going to treat the guy whose father's a garbage man? Somebody's got to do it. Anyway, I took offense. And the way I take offense is bang, to the best of my ability. And my bang wanted to know if my father's work is going to affect how I'm treated in class.